Good evening and welcome to Good News on Entertainment. I'm Carley. We're covering a lot of great movies tonight. And first up, Valentine's Day just passing. Maybe you're a fan of a good romance story. Well, we have the perfect one to watch. Someone Like You came out in theaters in the spring of 2024. Well, now it's headed to Great American Family and Great American Pure Flix. I had a chance to talk with bestselling author Karen Kingsbury about this amazing movie and unique story. In fact, she risked a lot to get this movie made. She even created her own film company. Before we revisit my conversation with her, let's go ahead and take another look at the movie.
It's been a hard year.
I fell in love with London Quinn in high school, even though she told me not to.
So many nights and tears.
She was in vitro, and there was another embryo. She might have a twin.
Hi.
You're my
Can't change the past.
Every time that I am with you, I was looking at London all over again. She always wanted me to find someone like you.
Thank God I do.
For one, I was so impressed that you can have such a good love story, and this is still PG. This is still such a safe love story that I can have my 11-year-old daughter sit with me and not be worried about it. And I think in some cases that's even harder to pull off, these days. So you've done that. And it's a love story. I think of even mothers and daughters and families. And, as a mom, I love those different angles of what the love story is.
Oh, thank you. I've watched it countless times, as you can imagine. It was my dream in the beginning, a movie that I could see on my heart that God gave me. And now it's exactly that movie on screen because I was involved at every step. We hired a casting director. Of course, we hired a local producer who handled the bringing in the cast and the crew, that kind of thing. But my hands and fingerprints and heartprints were all over it from the beginning to the end. So it mattered to me that it would be something that people could watch and not feel like they had to look away at any scene for any reason at any moment. And more than that, even I think just the emotion, even though I've seen it all these times and watched it go from, an idea to a script to a shoot to a 3-hour assembly of the movie to this final beautiful version, I still cry. And that's the mother-daughter piece as much as it is of a love story, that when they have that moment at the end, it's just, I cannot imagine the love of that biological mom to love her back home where she belongs.
Yes. Um, what is that hope that you really want people to kind of, when they walk away from this film? And again, what I love about movies, is especially ones like these, it will make you have conversations, I think, with those that you go and watch it with. What are those things that you hope people will kind of take with them and maybe look at differently?
Well, I've written a 20-page Bible study and then a much shorter, like 2 or 3-page discussion guide. So depending on where your level of faith is, you can lean in and ask questions and have those kinds of, whether it's a group of 2 people or whether it's a group of 20 or whatever it might be, that you can actually keep talking. And I've given you some helps on that. But what I hope people take away is that, with God, in the end, it's going to be okay. And that's something that Louise, the biological mom, is on the porch and she's reading her Bible, though you have to be paying attention to see that because it's organic to the story. She's not quoting chapter and verse there. She's reading and she's praying. Her husband comes out and she says, I was just out here talking to God and he reminded me of all the things I have. And she lists those, including her husband. She's lost a lot. And there are people who have lost a lot. And in 2024, we can say that after COVID and pandemic, the divisions that have happened in our nation. Yeah, there's a lot of loss. But, she has a smile after that. And she says, but we're going to be okay. That's the hope. And that's the hope that I am wanting everyone to take away from this movie.
You mentioned prayer, and it's one of the biggest things, both this movie and then with the Baxters. I've had a chance to watch the first few episodes as well. I didn't even realize how shocking it was for me to see families pray on screen together. I just didn't even realize how much I was missing that. And again, because I think sometimes we see it in reality shows, or it's been in, just saying a prayer before dinner, saying grace. But this is a whole new level of prayer where they're able to do that. And I just want to congratulate you. I want that to feel more normal.
I think that's the key, right? Is there are some beautiful movies that are basically a sermon on screen where there's lots of church scenes and lots of out loud, scripture reading, and those are amazing and they're doing a great job. But my job as a novelist, as a storyteller, is to make those practices that are part of our faith be normal, a normal part of a story, and not in a perfect setting, but in a setting that has deep conflicts that she doesn't live, right? Like that's a real problem for people. Like, why would I want to serve a God and love a God and pray to a God when I don't get what I want every time? Well, that's true. He's not a genie, but I often say, he's not the reason. He's not the reason for the troubled things that happen. He guaranteed us it would happen. Be sure that in this world you will have trouble, but he has overcome the world. He isn't the reason, he's the rescue. And if we can just shift that through storytelling, hope becomes contagious in our culture today.
I love that. As an author, you're this very successful New York Times bestselling author. Why go the extra step and make this into movies and TV series? You could have just easily just sold the story. And, I know they're close to your heart. So obviously you wanted a little bit more control. But as a storyteller myself and someone who loves to read and then also loves to watch movies and TV series, I'm just curious to get your thoughts because you really didn't need to do much more. Again, you've had this amazing career. You have all these books. Why go it's a lot of work.
It's so much work and it's so much risk. That's something I'm finding out right now. I'm an independent filmmaker. So Karen Kingsbury Productions is brand new. This is, Someone Like You is the first movie. And we're finding out from theaters and, they call them the exhibitors that honestly, we need to sell tickets now to make that impact because we're not Sony and we're not Universal. So it's a lot of risk and it's a lot of work. Yes. We felt strongly that, we had some savings we built up over the years. And like, what were we going to do with it? Buy a couple houses? Like, you can't take any of it with you. And honestly, at the heart of my heartbeat and soul is evangelism. Like, I want people to have the hope that I have, that they can face tomorrow no matter what tomorrow brings. And, someone like you will give them that hope. But I've seen it done. I've been thankful for all the things that have been made on my books in the past. So thankful. But I never saw the movie that God put on my heart. I never saw that on the screen. Now the Baxters, is an exception, but they weren't out. So they were stuck on a shelf. And, 2 years ago, when we made this decision, that was part of it. It was like, you know what? I have no control over the Baxters being stuck on a shelf, but I have control over me making a movie. And it comes, just fraught with risks. That's okay. My husband put his hands on my shoulders and he said, honey, if we have to sell everything, I believe in you. And I know we're supposed to make this movie. And, with that, it was just like, there were so many things that could go wrong and they didn't. Like God met us miraculously at every turn. And now,
and isn't that what faith is? There needs to be risk or it wouldn't be faith.
That's right. And we have a sign, my husband and I, on the way into our bedroom. It's a pretty big sign. It's real artsy looking. And it says, just one life. And with that in mind, like we were going to make this movie, it was time to jump and not get to the other end of the journey of life and say, we should have take some risks, because people's lives, their future, their salvation, their way of living in terms of living with hope or living with discouragement, that's on the line. There are people out there it's going to matter to. And in fact, we've started this Share the Hope where people are donating tickets and others are claiming them. We just started it. We started it our own family with 3,000 tickets. They were gone in less than 24 hours. So that tells you, and people are buying tickets obviously as well, but it just tells you that there's this message of hope that they know is going to be, they're trusting it. They don't even know yet how much hope they're going to get, but they're wanting that badly to see it. So I'm thankful for the people coming alongside me to get these extra, to buy some tickets, 5 tickets, 1 ticket, 10, whatever for a stranger. So that they might experience that hope, but this side of it, like I am just so thankful that we took the leap and we made this movie for someone like you.
Oh, I can't wait to see what Karen is working on next. Meanwhile, Someone Like You will air on Great American Family on Saturday, February 22nd at 8, 7 Central, and will begin streaming on Great American Pure Flix on February 20th. Okay, now to a movie heading to the big screen February 21st, Unbreakable Boy. This is the latest from Kingdom Story Company. Remember, they brought us films like Jesus Revolution and The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. Well, this film tells the true story of a family of parents who are dealing with a child who not only has brittle bone disease, but autism as well. And while I would not necessarily call this a faith-based film, it does show there is joy to be found in some of life's biggest challenges. Before I talk with Zachary Levi and the young boy that plays the son, Austin, let's take a look at the film.
Hey, Ozman, are you sure that's the right hat for your first day?
Don't be a goober, Daddy. Your Jester is the best one. It's the Mountain Dew Code Red of hats. And the best part is the chicks dig it.
Oh, do they?
I'm Austin, but you can call me Ozman. Welcome back, everybody! I have a lizard named Marty and a killer hat collection. When I meet people, I tell them everything. Logan, this is Tyler. He said we can be best friends. All I have to do is shut up. Oh yeah, I'm also autistic.
Autism presents itself in many different ways.
It's a class for kids with special needs. They think that it's time, that it's only going to get worse.
Earth to Austin.
I think his brain's on another planet.
Nope, my brain is right here in my head on Earth.
This is not what I thought it was gonna be like.
Shoes on. Dad's late for work. Hey, whoa. Austin, what are you doing?
I feel like I'm failing every day, and the harder I try, the worse I do.
Honey, your mistakes don't define you. How you heal does.
You've given up so much for this family, and you have never stopped fighting for us.
Here's to one day at a time.
Check out my sweet new board.
Why are you such a jerk, man? Give it back.
It's not, but you can borrow sometime.
Why do you even want to be friends with him? Because he's sad. Here's a true fact. Sometimes a sad moment feels happy. And sometimes a happy moment feels sad. I don't always know why. That's just what it's like to be Austin.
You're doing awesome, dude. Go on, get back out there.
I can't.
Sure you can. Watch this. Hey, Ozman, do you want to fly?
I wish I could enjoy anything as much as my son enjoys everything.
Woohoo! Look, Dad, it's a dragon!
Because Austin, every day can be the best day. Every moment, the best moment.
This is the best day of my life!
You just have to be able to see it.
The chemistry between you two, I bought it right away.
Hey, all right.
Good
job.
Talk a little bit about that. I mean, the bond that you're having to show on camera and on screen, I mean, did there have to be much work kind of beforehand, before the cameras started rolling? I mean, to jump into a father-son kind of duo and make it look so real, I think, looked effortless to me.
I mean,
Good.
I think it came about naturally for us.
Yeah.
Like, we bonded very quickly. I remember on the first Zoom call I did a director's session with John Gunn and Zach. And I remember the bond came about very quickly. And so we immediately had a great time, and we knew we'd do good together.
Yep.
And so it was great.
Yeah. And when, no matter how much time you spend or don't spend with your cast, when the other actors come in and they bring everything and they lay it out all on the table and they bring their most authentic self and they really, give. Like there unfortunately there are some actors that are more takers, and then there are some actors that are really giving of their energy, of their talent. And Jacob is the latter. Jacob brought every ounce of that energy. What you see on that screen is him bringing his authentic self and then adding to that the extra bits that bring Austin to life in such an authentic way. And so that makes it really easy, as his scene partner, to then react naturally to what that energy is. And so I just tried to give as much as I could to him so that he could feel authentically like he's talking to his father, in these scenes. And John Gunn, I have so much praise for him. He's such a wonderful human being. He wrote such a fantastic script and was such a fantastic director. So, lots of kudos to him for creating such a beautiful environment for us to, embody these characters in.
Yeah, John Gunn was really amazing. Like, whenever I was with him on set, like, I felt, like, really comfortable that I could just show, like, really all that I want to bring into my character, and I know that he'll enjoy it, and then if he wants to change stuff up, he'll give constructive criticism, and that it was amazing working with John Gunn.
That's awesome. There's so many different themes I think that people are just going to really relate with. What is the one thing from you guys, I want to hear from both of you, just the message that you hope and that'll really, these are one of those movies I think that'll stick with you, right? Like, I think you're going to remember this one for a long time. Certainly the parenting expert, I'm a mom of 3 young kids. So there's things that are going to stick, I think, for a long time when they hear more about the story.
I think there are, like, many messages, but the most important ones are probably, like, love and acceptance. Scott has a tough time throughout the movie because he can't believe that this is happening. He has a baby, like, at a very young age, and now all of a sudden his baby has brittle bone disease and autism, and he has to learn to accept it in his head that, like, this is happening, and I have to make sure to show love to the people around me no matter what, no matter how tough it gets. And throughout the movie, he has trouble. He starts drinking a lot. He starts drinking a lot. He gets into a car accident, but eventually he learns to heal, and he learns to accept the people around him and show love for everyone. And Austin definitely helps because Austin, he has lots of struggles too, but Austin teaches the people around him, like, make sure you love and accept no matter what, because any day can be the best day of your life.
I was going to say he finds joy in everything, which I love.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, basically everything that Jacob just said. I mean, that's,
I know.
That's really what the film centers around. And I think that Scott, the real Scott, very bravely and vulnerably wrote this book, chronicling his own journey, his family's journey, and recognizes that he was living with these expectations, what life is supposed to be. We all have these ideas of what exactly. This is the way life is supposed to be, and this is not. I didn't expect to have a child that is struggling with these things, and I'm not supposed to be having a child that is struggling with these things. Why am I having to go through this right now? And we fight with God, and we wrestle with God, and God's like, hey, you don't know more than I know. And what God knew the whole time was, I'm giving you a gift in this child, because Scott, not recognizing that he was trying to control what cannot be controlled. He was trying to somehow, put up this facade of, no, everything's good, I got it under control. And God's like, you don't have anything under control. I have everything under control. You need to radically...
Amen. That's a lesson for us.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And to radically accept what God is bringing into your life, because there is a lesson in all of it. And finally, God is able to wrestle Scott to the ground in all of that through Scott's self-medication and also Teresa's self-medication. They self-medicated in very different ways, but to finally rest, to finally accept, and then to see the beauty in all of that, and to see that his child, who he begins with this idea of, no, this isn't the way it's supposed to be, but then recognizing that, no, this is actually a gift, because were it not for a son that was going through this or that had these attributes to his life, he would not be able to see the beauty in life in the way that Austin always sees the beauty in life. And so, all of that, I think, is something that will resonate with audiences, whether they're an audience of faith or not. The film is infused with faith, but I think that it's really just a very real, authentic, beautiful take on a family that is, navigating what life is in general, but specifically what it means to navigate life raising a child with autism, which is something that at this point is quite ubiquitous. It's something that touches everybody's lives. And so I've never seen or heard of a film that tackles it in such a beautiful way.
Yes, gentlemen, thank you. Job well done.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you so
you. Have a
much.
great day.
Have a great day.
I also had a chance to talk with the real father, who the story is based on, as well as one of the actors and producer, Kevin Downs.
Scott, let's start with you. This is your family story. It must be so emotional, I'd imagine, to finally get this on the big screen and to be vulnerable. Obviously, this is what you've been doing. You've shared your story for a number of years now, but how are you feeling now that it's hitting the big screen?
Oh, it's a thrill. And, you know, Peter's told me all along the way, especially right now, you know, enjoy every moment, every single step of it, because, you know, who knows? And I am, and we are, and it's so far above me, though, you know. And he originally told me, Peter, I'm talking about, that the story could change the world, and I never understood that. I just wasn't really quite sure how to accept that. And now, after going to a couple of screenings with people and having people come up to me and talk to me, I knew that it would touch people because everybody could relate, and it would resonate with all different types of people. But to see some of the people crying and doing these things, it's so humbling, because I didn't write it to do that. I just was sharing my story because I thought it was kind of messy and fascinating at the same time.
Well, and there's really not a whole lot of stories that I think tell a family story, the both challenges and the joy that come with autism. But you have millions of families across the United States that are dealing with this really on a daily basis. So talk a little bit about that and the hope that you hope your family story will provide.
Look, I gotta share one more thing. My favorite poem is, there's a line in there that says essentially, the more sorrow you have, the more joy your heart can contain. And I think that's really cool. I kind of butchered it there, but it's essentially, you know, the more messed up you are, the more broken you are, that just means there's so much greater potential for your joy to be as big as can be. And so that's why I think that everybody that sees our story should realize, no matter what situation they're in, there's hope to come out on the other side better and stronger than before.
Peter, why do you want to be a part of this story? And I mean, this is different from what you've done here in the past, but I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, for me, it was a crazy story because my brother-in-law owns this pharmacy in New York, and Scott walked into the pharmacy and started talking to him about his book. And my brother-in-law called me and said, "Hey, this guy walked into my store. Here's a cool book he wrote. You should make it into a movie." And you get that all the time. And my brother-in-law never really called me with anything like that. So I read it, and it just really resonated with me because I'm a father, you know, and being a father alone is challenging, let alone to a child with autism. And the themes in that book really just felt like this is a universal theme that I really want to be a part of telling, because I did feel like it's something that could help heal the world. It's a movie about inspiration and love and resilience and hope. And so for me, I was excited to shepherd that, and I brought it to Kingdom Films. Kingdom Films brought it to Lionsgate, and the universe kind of steered it from there. But I'm really proud of this film. I've done a lot of movies in my career, and this one really is a special one.
Yeah. Kevin, of course, the brand Kingdom Story, I mean, why was this a good fit? Because again, I think for big fans like myself, that you guys have, just been doing such a good job here recently with the stories that you pick. Why this one?
Yeah, I mean, Carl, as you know, our films are all about a rush of hope. And this one, I mean, it wasn't even like a question. I was actually shocked when I heard who brought it to us. I was like, wait, the actor?
That's great.
And so, but I just in love with the story. I'm in love with the performances. The take that John Gunn had, I was like, yeah, okay, give it a shot, because I wasn't sure how he was going to translate it. But at the end of the day, he did it in such a way that there's so many entry points from people, right? No matter where you're at in life, everybody's struggling with something. Right, and so to see Scott and Teresa's story they're dealing with this brittle bone disease that I personally had never heard of before. But that didn't matter because everything that they were dealing with, there was something that I could relate to. Absolutely, like getting in and over your head over the bills. Or just so many little things. It was like, oh man, I can relate to this and the struggle that these guys go through. But then there's humor and there's laughter, and of course you're going to cry because that's what brings the hope. And anyway, I love the film. Over the run of 5 films we've had this year, it's my favorite for sure because it brings all the feels every time I watch it.
I think I've cried in all 5. Gentlemen, thank you both, or all 3 of you, so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I wish I could enjoy anything as much as my son enjoys everything.
Woohoo! Look, Dad, it's a dragon!
Because to Austin, every day can be the best day. Every moment, the best moment.
This is the best day of my life!
You just have to be able to see it.
Unbreakable Boy is out in theaters February 21st. Now, one last movie I want to remind you about is No Address. This is one that we have been following for quite a while now. This film tries to put a face to those who are homeless. There was first a documentary and then a book, and now the film is set to hit theaters February 28th.
Hello? Jade? Why's my stuff out here? Come on, please, let me in! You have to! I have nowhere else to go!
For many out on the streets with no address.
Hey, beautiful.
When the hope dies. It's hard to be found.
Are you okay?
Nah, I really should get going.
Are you sure you got somewhere to go?
You could try to kick me when I'm down. It ain't gonna break me.
I'm working on this huge deal, and if I pull it off, our problems will be gone.
We need to deal with these now.
No, please.
You can say what you wanna, cause I'm still here.
Have you seen him? Was that Jimmy she was looking for?
I've got a new family now, okay?
You're worthless! Get out of my house!
People who actually care about me.
I'm not giving up on you.
I'm not giving up on him!
You get these people off our streets now.
It's not that simple.
Something.
They're human beings. Where are they meant to go?
I don't know how much longer I can do this.
This is my home. Your gambling and incompetence is what got us here.
We've all fallen short.
Get back.
And lost our way.
Look, I believe in second chances. Follow me.
You don't fight this alone. You don't fight this alone. You don't fight this alone. No.
You never know in life why things work out the way they do.
Never give up.
Well, there you have it. There are a lot of great films to be watched this month. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show and insight. And I hope you have a great night. And I look forward to seeing you next week right here on your Christian television network.